there, it's Carrie Gatto with
So,
Keller Williams Realty, and I am here today. I have the pleasure of interviewing Eric Parks, who is the owner of Somerville Chocolate. Hi, Eric. How are you?
hi, good, Carrie. Thanks. How are you doing?
Doing so good. It's great to see you again. Um, Eric, could you briefly just describe your business for us?
Sure. So I'm a bean to bar chocolate maker is the official term for what I do, and it's really just a process of importing whole cacao and taking it through from the whole process from start to finish to being chocolate bars, which means roasting it and cracking and winnowing and tempering and molding, and it stops at the bar. So I'm not a chocolatier. I don't create bonbons and truffles and things like that. That's a whole different thing. I'm a chocolate maker.
Very, very cool. How long have you been in business?
Um, I have been doing this as a business probably since about 2012 or so close to 10 years. I started off about maybe a year or two before that and started the chocolate CSA in 2012.
Okay, awesome. And what inspired you to get into chocolate?
Well, the official start was a trip down to Costa Rica. I was there, I think, in 2010 with my family, and I had two little toddlers at the time. And it was the first time that I had to go traveling as a tourist who was stuck doing kid-friendly things. So at one point we went on a chocolate tour of a supposed to be a chocolate plantation, and I had low expectations. I thought it'd be something kind of tacky where the kids would grab chocolate bars from a cacao tree and that would be that. But actually, it took us off through the jungle and showed us a true cacao plantation and everything to do with the tree, how you pick the cacao and how it's fermented and roasted, and everything was done right there in the no electricity jungle area. And at the end of that, they were just churning out crude but delicious chocolate. So I've had a big thing for chocolate my whole life. So I was surprised you could do that, and came home and hit the internet up and found there were actually budding groups of people out in the world that were exploring how to do this chocolate making thing from on a home scale. So
Mm,
that's kind of how it all began. Was a trip down to Costa Rica.
wow. Um, and why did you decide to start a chocolate CSA?
Well, um, it came after a year or two of obsessive chocolate making. Um, it was kind of a way to test the waters commercially to see, if I could make a little bit of money at this extreme hobby at the time. And I also wanted to kind of like share some of the passion of this chocolate making idea, because the concept with the CSA was to give multiple bars to people in which usually you tweak different aspects of chocolate making. So it's kind of exploring chocolate on a more fundamental level that you could experience by just buying bars in stores. So it might be three different roast profiles of the same bean, varying the sugar content or cocoa butter content, little tweaks like that. So it was kind of a love for chocolate geekiness. And I thought, well, if I get a bunch of people who are into this, we could have kind of like a club, a chocolate CSA. Um, I engaged a little bit of agricultural appropriation there by calling it CSA, because I'm not actually growing anything, but that's
Mhm.
the spirit of it.
And you're still doing that?
Yeah, it's going on. It took a really bad hit during the pandemic for a bunch of reasons. So it's been stalled out in the middle of season 6 there, but it is still happening. It's just on a hiatus right now.
Okay. Okay. Um, could you possibly share with us your secret to amazing chocolate or one of them?
Oh, the secret to amazing chocolate. Well, there are a few of them. The first one would be sourcing cocoa beans from quality suppliers. So instead of just buying bulk cacao from wherever, as Hershey's or any of the big manufacturers does, when you're operating at my scale, I have the flexibility to get bags of cacao that were grown by people who take much better care of the genetics and the fermentation and the drying and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's probably the biggest secret, is to start off with good ingredients that way. Um, and then
Makes sense.
personally, I think the next step that I do hands-on kind of wise is roasting. That's the biggest thing. How you roast cacao has the most input on flavor wise, for aspects, for things that I can do as a chocolate maker that I do in house. So just matching your roast profiles to the beans, I think that's the other big thing. And beyond that, it becomes personal preferences. Some people like it smooth and cocoa buttery and all that. So, but I think those two things are the most important aspects.
Thank you. And what's something your customers would say about you or your business
Oh, about me? Um,
or your chocolate?
yeah, people tend to, well, no one gives you bad feedback because everybody's nice, but common responses, oh, I didn't realize you're here inside this brewery, or oh, you're here, I never see anybody here. Because I'm a one-person operation and I have kids and two careers, so it's kind of like when I'm here, I'm here. When I'm not, I'm not. So maybe the ephemeralness of that.
And where are you located?
I'm inside the Aeronaut Brewery over
Okay.
in the Summer Nova complex.
And what is your other career?
I'm an architect also.
Okay.
Yeah, I still do that. There's an ebb and the flow to it. In the pandemic, I took on more projects to kind of make up the void there. It tends to be small residential things that can fit within the schedule of chocolate making.
Hmm. Nice. And what do you do besides work?
Besides work,
Mhm. You
nothing
still
really. I don't
travel?
know. Well, I have two kids. They're teenagers, so quite a lot of time is spent just moving them around or helping, encouraging things to happen.
Sure.
Um, but if I have time on my own, which is very seldom these days, it would usually be outdoors someplace in a forest, out there. Go up to Maine
Awesome.
whenever possible.
Awesome.
And oh,
Yeah,
I
you
should also
go.
back up. I'm also a historic history nut, so I'm on the historic commission here in Somerville. So I do a lot of work to anything to do with old houses or uh,
Very cool.
old history of the town and people in it, things like that.
That's fascinating. I love that. Um, do you have any goals, either personal or professional, this year?
Um, Goals. Well, chocolate wise, it would be to grow a bit and bring on an employee who could handle a lot of the nuts and bolts stuff. And I was thinking of
Okay.
that before the pandemic, but then I got kind of scared. I think it's a lot harder to add your first person that would be your 51st person. So it's like, do I really have enough work to keep this person busy? And what if it doesn't work out because they're going to be in my space all day? But I think that would be a personal goal to do that and handle a lot of the chocolate making heavy lifting so I could focus on getting to more stores and then maybe get back into more of the retail products that could be sold at the brewery, other cafe-ish things, baked goods, stuff like that. I don't really have a drive to conquer the world chocolate wise and grow to some big mega thing. Um, I don't need to do that anymore.
Mentioned that is open. Would there by chance be any free chocolate tasting involved?
Oh, free chocolate, yes. Anybody who comes by, whether they like it or not, as long as I don't have my hands in a bowl of something, will get more chocolate than they want, usually for samples. And I will forewarn people of that because I'm between the tap room of the brewery and the bathrooms. So I'll often get people to stop by and express a little bit of interest and they'll say, hey, try this or that. And then at some point, you realize they actually needed to use the bathroom or they have an anxious boyfriend or girlfriend wondering what happened to their person. And, it's kind of fun being on the flight path within a brewery. But yes, I do give samples out.
Wow, well, that's really good for people to know. I
Yes.
remember when I was there years ago, and you let me sample the melted chocolate, and it was
Uh,
unreal.
that is like the
So
secret weapon of chocolate. I like to say it's mainlining your chocolate because it's like, there's no, usually part of the tasting experience with chocolate is how it melts and the mouth feel and all that. And because it takes time, it can change your experience of how flavor reaches you and other little stimuli that hits you at the same time. When you eat a spoonful of melted chocolate right out of a refiner, it's all there immediately. There's no no waiting for
Right.
anything. And often, if it's still early on, it might be in the kind of refiners I use, the chocolate conches as it refines, sort of conches. And conching is is a process of stirring melted chocolate over low heat for a long period of time, usually a few days, and it drives off remaining volatile compounds and things that didn't get taken care of in roasting. It sort of rounds out flavors. And so this is kind of digressing to the making part of the discussion, but if you
Mhm.
dip a spoon in a fresh batch before it's had a lot of time to percolate, you sometimes get a different character than you would as a finished product.
That makes sense. Well, I would say the best way to contact you is probably just to stop by in person and experience a sample.
Yeah, always good to, if you're really hoping to meet me or be here, to send me an email first to my website
Okay,
just to make sure, because I do have to come and go a lot.
great.
Definitely
And
would love to
what
meet.
is your website, just so people have that?
Oh, it's somervillechocolate.com. Somerville
Okay,
spelled like the city of Somerville. Chocolate, no spaces or hyphens or anything.com.
great. And your chocolate bars are also in some of the local stores as well, right?
Yeah, in Somerville, it Dave's Pasta carries it. Wine and Cheese Cask here. There's a new store in Union Square, the Vinyl General Store next to the Vinyl Bakery. They have it, and occasionally Picnic and Pantry and Bow Market will carry it. Those are spots. Hope I'm not forgetting anybody. My apologies. Oh, Cambridge Naturals, which is technically Cambridge, South Somerville, I like to call it.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Eric. I really appreciate your time today, and this was great to learn more about you and your chocolate business. And thank you, everyone, for watching.
Oh, thanks a lot. Nice meeting, or nice seeing you again.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye bye.